This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 272.1. But you don't know about that if you're listening to it after the fact. I'm Edie Sellers, and with me is Holy Goalie, Dina Cola, who just survived a near fatal collapse of the technology. But it's back. It's working. Hey, guys.
Are we live? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and if I can hear you, I know they can hear you. Nick, are you there? Shut up, Nick. Stop that.
Gosh, I hate it when he pretends he's a guy.
I'm a man. I'm a manly man. Manner than you are, man.
And man, you're a man.
AC Wraith is in the chat room. AC Wraith, quality check. Can you hear Goalie and Nick? And we'll wait a couple of minutes because it takes time for them. So yeah, bottom line is in the fixing of the internet. He says almost perfect. We can hear Goalie from Kevin Polware. In the fixing of the internet that I was having problems with last week, we finally got the new box, the new Switch, and it was awesome and everything worked great. But in the process of doing that, somehow one of my drivers got borked, and we needed to reinstall the driver. Of course, I didn't realize that the driver was missing until we started to do the show. So there you go.
Sounds like the Clintons. They didn't know their driver was missing.
Oh, and I don't have the rim shot loaded.
So anyway, we're going to be talking a lot of Destiny.
Oh my God, so much Destiny.
While we've been playing. Wait, where's my thing here?
What's your thing?
It is your destiny.
It's a good. Damn, that's a good game.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I was playing some Plague Inc. on the phone, and you know,
and with Plague Inc. We're talking.
No. I'm gonna tie it back in. There are like little notices that scroll by the top of the screen, and one of them is like people are told to await their destiny. And Destiny is capitalized. So, the knowledge of the game is even kind of spreading out from there.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised to see it referenced in...
Oh, it was in Plague Inc. that you saw it. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, Nick.
Yeah.
Bring absolutely nothing to this show.
No,
I thought that was interesting.
I thought it's interesting that an iOS game that has nothing to do with Destiny is actually referencing Destiny in its own game. That's kind of funny.
ESPN talked about Destiny. What's your point?
Did they?
I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Destiny. Wow. And you, Nick, you are on the beta now. You were not in the alpha, correct?
No, I did play it though.
Okay, and that's right. You played a little bit of it. Goalie, you hadn't played the alpha at all, right?
I played 2 minutes, so I recognized one of the maps, but I really didn't do much at all. So this was my first delving.
Mm-hmm. And survey says,
oh my gosh, it started off and it felt a lot like Warframe, and I was like, well, I did like Warframe, except it didn't really explain anything, so I was really lost. And I think it was Sly and one other. On my friends list, I think they listen to the show too, was kind of walking me through it. And it was like, wow, this is really complex, this Warframe. But it was co-op fun, whatever. So it started off like Warframe. And then you called up the little cube, like the Portal 2 cube. And it was like, oh no, it's turning into Killzone. Please don't turn into Killzone. And luckily it didn't turn into Killzone.
Mm-mm.
But then it became like Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Bit. And I was like, wow, so it's a little bit of Halo, a little bit of Warframe, a little bit of Killzone. And then part of it felt like Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, it's like a little bit of everything. And it seems to do everything really well. The only thing me and Nick played last night. Nick and I played last night a little bit, and we were both saying that we wished you started with a little bit of heavy weapon ammo instead of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That was our gripe. But we both thought that little ship that the little scooter or whatever you want to call it,
the Sparrow,
controlled so well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that thing was so smooth and effortless. That's probably the best controlled vehicle I've ever played in a video game. I didn't have one complaint about how I controlled that thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing I love about it is how effortless and easy it is to switch through your weapons.
Yes. Yep.
And in fact, I was playing with Jay, the game guru, last night, and got him a code. He didn't pre-order it, but he ended up getting a code, and he made a mention that he'd spent all day. He played a little bit of Destiny the night before and then spent the whole day on the 360 playing something else and then came right back to Destiny, and there was no question of how to do stuff. It's like it's so intuitive. I don't really know how they did it, but the controls on it are so intuitive and so quick that you can play another game, pick that one up, and you immediately go back into Destiny mode. It controls well. I think it looks great. And, especially considering that it's a beta, I mean, I've already seen major differences between, at least in some, not so much the gameplay, but in the presentation, between the alpha and the beta. Like Peter Dinklage's voice, some of the mapping of the faces.
Voice is absolutely horrendous. I think there are enemies up ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go take them out.
Man, It was so much worse.
Yeah, it was worse before. It was so much worse before. And unfortunately they took out that line about that wizard comes from the moon.
Yeah, I don't know why. The line was great itself. His performance of it was shit, but the line itself was stupid in a good way.
Yeah. So, but I said when the alpha came out that they need to have some kind of effects on Dinklage's voice because you can't really tell that it's your ghost that's talking to you. And of course they did. They roboed it up. And I think it still needs a little more roboing, but Dinklage's performance is pretty beige is the best way I can describe it. He's clearly sat in front of a microphone and just read and had no context to it.
He is a robot, so it should be somewhat like that. It's just that because there were no effects on him before, it sounded like he was bored. But now that they've added in just that little robo effect, the actual acting doesn't have to change, but it does sound more like a robot, and it sounds more appropriate.
Right.
Like that effect changes everything.
Yeah, the performance is still kind of a beige performance, and they probably dragged him in to do a few extra lines because it seems like what it is. It's Peter Dinklage. It feels like, instead of it feeling like your ghost, it feels like Peter Dinklage sitting in front of a microphone reading lines that he doesn't understand about arrays. Like, you have to raise the array. You've got to kill that wizard. It's not the greatest performance ever. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it was.
I think it's pretty good.
It was bad.
But we got a lot more information about the story of what Destiny's going to be about with the Traveler and the darkness.
I'm kind of curious about this because I have encountered something weird for me. As someone who loves story in games, I could not give any more of a shit about the story of Destiny. Like, I just don't care at all about any of it. I think the history is neat. I want to know about the history, but every time there's a cutscene, I just skip it. Every time someone talks about, like, whenever you get a mission, like whenever you're doing the mission and he's like, oh, we have to go find the array. It's like, why am I lifting this array? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm just going to shoot things. Like, it's a very weird feeling for me to play a game and just give fuck all about everything about the narrative.
Kevin Bulware in the chat room says, the only thing I've seen Dinklage in was the X-Men movie. I don't understand why they expected good voice acting.
I don't know. Let's debate it. I mean, I'm hoping things get a lot better. So
yeah,
he was good in X-Men. What are you talking about?
Do you think that your reason why you want to just go in and kill stuff is because it reflects on the quality of the game, or the good quality of the game, or the poor qualities of the story?
I don't know. I think it might be a mix, because I do enjoy playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the moment to moment is fun, and I think like the style of it is great. I love that it's got this high fantasy style mixed with sci-fi. That's why I love that line, "The wizard came from the moon." Like, I genuinely love that something as absurd as that makes sense within this universe. I think that's really, really neat, and kind of a bold mixing of genres. Like, I like that, but I don't know why I don't care. And I'm curious. You said that you got a little bit more information. What is that information? Did I miss something that will make me care, or?
No, I think you might have missed something. I don't know if it'll make you care, but before you were just kind of dumped in, and there was no what's the word I want? Explanation, like that big cutscene where you meet with the speaker, who speaks for the traveler, and about how the traveler came and kind of saved the world, and we're not really sure what the traveler did, but the traveler was protecting humankind and protecting goodness, and then the darkness came. And so
that guy, like, he just reiterated stuff that was said in the opening cutscene.
The opening cutscene really didn't go into it, but yes, he went into slightly more detail about it. Yeah,
the one thing I do remember about that conversation is that dude played the head vampire in Underworld.
Okay, really? Good to know.
Yeah, that's his voice. I recognize that voice.
Is it Victor?
Oh yeah, Victor. That was his name. That's totally Victor.
Funny. So so it's I see. You mentioned. What were the games that you just mentioned? Borderlands and Halo and Warframe and all these other games. And the thing that that Destiny really harkens back to me is Mass Effect. It very much feels like a better Mass Effect, dare I say.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
It's
like no RPG systems in this game.
Simpler Mass Effect.
Right. You're thinking about it from a mechanical point of view. I'm kind of thinking of it from a spiritual point of view. The story seems to be lining itself up along the same lines of Mass Effect, where you've got...
except like the first 20 minutes of Mass Effect were way better narratively than the first 20 minutes of
you're assuming that they aren't going to add stuff in before that. This is a beta. This is a beta. You cannot,
Nick, you're being a woman right now. You just...
Oh, God, I hate it when you do that.
You know what I mean? It's like, stop being a woman. Just see how it plays out. If they don't fix it, then you can bitch. Don't bitch before you see it.
Because guys never do that. Oh, no. Come on. Come on.
You try to give a woman a compliment, they jumped on your throat and says, you haven't even let me finish my sentence. Seriously.
Well, whenever you start your compliments to a woman of, you used to be really fat, but, and then, from there on out, we don't really hear much.
You used to be fucking ugly, but now you're pretty good looking.
And we wonder why you don't get any dates.
Oh my gosh! But anyway,
that's not a good pickup line.
No, that's not a great pickup line. Man, I remember you in high school. God, you look like 10 miles of bad road, but now
time hasn't been kind to you, but now
right.
So anyway, the Destiny we played. Like I say, I played a little bit with Nick. I played with I think Kevin here in the chat room. We played. He was kind of walking me through some things in the whole bit. The only big downfall right now is the 3-player teams, because I know there's a lot of, I play Mrs. Goalie. Mrs. Goalie really likes Destiny, and we played with Barbara, and Barbara really likes Destiny. So the three of us were playing, and we were going to add one more player, and we couldn't do it.
No, you can't. Well, it's and I think that's also something that's going to change, because if you'll notice when you see the missions, it says 1 to 3 players, which means I'm thinking that there's going to be sections that are 1 to 3 players. There's going to be sections that are 2 to 6 players. I imagine there's probably going to be missions that are many more players than just what we're used to. So you kind of can scale the game scale your gameplay based on how many people you have to play with at that time.
I hope they bump it up from 3, because that's tough to ask somebody to leave to go do a mission. That stinks, really. You know?
And that's just because they're keeping it small. In addition, if you'll notice that the plazas that you go to on the tower, which everybody's calling the Citadel anyway, but on the tower you've got the plaza. If you'll notice, there's only 12 people in that tower at any time. And I think that they're doing that to control the stress on the servers.
Yeah, probably.
So you're going to see a lot more people in towers and kind of running around. And they may end up starting with only 12 or 15 and then scaling up the size as the server... Because it's actually a smart way to handle the server issues that they're invariably going to have.
Yeah, ramping it up like that.
Is ramping it up by keeping the areas where a lot of players congregate all at once relatively small, and then expand the number of players that can come in at any time as the power comes online.
I can see that. That would make it like more interesting when you go someplace that's supposed to be like a really big city.
Right. And,
although, I mean, you are in like the last city on Earth, so
right, and it's, if you think about it, the number one problem that plagues every one of these very popular multiplayer games, is that you can't get in, because one of the reasons of can't getting in is that A, you've got to get through the login servers, and then B, when you show up, you've got these massive areas with tons of people. And that's hard. That's hard to do that technologically. So it's a smart solve that allows it to hopefully, when it comes out, work well. Because if you can't get into Destiny as a multiplayer, kind of no point to play Destiny. That's what it is. It's a multiplayer game. And so much more fun when you play it with people as opposed to all by yourself.
They did some really fun things, too. Like, so you're running around in a group of 2 or 3. Me and Nick were playing last night. And all of a sudden, like, the big shadow come over. And it was like a big public event, it's called. So you actually gang up on the enemy with all these other people that are around you who, I still can't figure it out. You can see them. They can shoot enemies. You can shoot enemies. You can't kill each other, obviously, which is great. But I can't understand if they could mess up your mission. No. You know what I mean? It was like Nick and myself, we were doing something, and you wonder if someone could come over and like kill all the enemies and do the mission for us and screw it up for us.
No, and here's why: is that when you go, and this is just, I don't know anything about it working for sure, but what I suspect is that when you go into the areas that say spawning restricted, the areas of darkness,
yep.
Those kind of become like instances. So when you walk into there, it kind of puts you in your own space, because I have never seen anybody walk through my quote unquote mission.
Once you get into the darkness areas, you're not playing a multiplayer game anymore.
Right. You're kind of in your own little spot.
Online multiplayer game. You're playing a co-op game with whoever is in your fire team.
Right. And they move you into that instance so seamlessly, don't they? I mean, you wouldn't know it's an instance. You just are walking from point A to point B, and all of a sudden you're going from the multiplayer area to the non-multiplayer area, and you can't tell. It's pretty cool.
And what I have noticed that I kind of like is if you go into the just kind of free roam area, there are these beacons that you can pick up that give you some missions. And a lot of those missions are like, clear out the enemies of this area or find X number of items by killing enemies. And if there are other people there and they are shooting enemies, their kills count towards your progression.
They're kind of like triggered public events.
Yeah. So that's nice, because basically any random person can help you, but they can't hurt you.
In Final Fantasy, remember I was talking about you have fates that you know, they just they're like pop-up instances, pop-up events that you have to kill something or do something, and it just pops up, and everybody on the map can see where something has started, and everybody runs to it, and it's just tons of people just bashing away. That's the same idea, where you have a public event that it just pops up and everybody runs to it and does it, and then everybody gets a bonus for completing it in a certain way.
Okay, that's the one thing that I'm kind of disappointed, is that it's really hard to find when like one of those big public events is going on. Because there have been times when like I'm playing with you, Goalie, or you, Edie, and you say like, oh, there's a big event, the spider is coming down. And I'm like somewhere on the other side of the map going, how do I get to where you are? I don't know where to go.
Yeah, that's that. You kind of have to know the map at that point.
Sometimes if you look at the little mini map, you can kind of get an idea where your fire team is.
Yeah,
it's just such a confusing. Like the mini map isn't confusing. Just like the layout of that area of Russia is confusing.
Yeah, I get lost in there all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then we played with Piss Boy last night. Holy shit! Does this guy just shit out winning lottery tickets? Can I tell you? Friggin' Piss Boy, he's got codes for every game. And then we're playing last night, right? And I was kind of showing Nick. I showed Nick one or two loot chests that I found. I saw a video on GameSpot or something like that. I was like, oh, Nick, come over here. I'll get you a couple loot chests, right? We're playing last night. In 3 minutes with Piss Boy, he found like 5.
Yeah, he's good. Well, you know why? It's because he's moved over from his regular PS4 earpiece into a headset, because someone showed him that you can actually hear the chests. If you've got your headset on and you know what to listen for, you can actually hear. They make they emit a whirring noise, kind of
like a black box ping.
Yeah, not a ping, but like a whir. And that you can hear those chests. And so he's been able to just suss out where all the chests are because he can hear them. He knows what to listen for.
Yeah, he was last night left and right. I was like, oh, another chest over here. Oh, another chest over here. Another chest over there. It's like I say, you're walking around picking up lottery tickets that are falling out of his ass.
Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous. This guy just get everything.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
He's a monster.
He knew where everything was.
Yep. And he's got a great memory from where everything is. Because I can't remember where all the ghosts are, but he can. So, yeah. Now, question. Now that you've played significantly of the Destiny beta, are you going to buy the pre-order?
It depends.
Because right now the only thing out there is that $90 pre-order on digital.
What? No, there's not.
You can't.
You're saying you can't pre-order the game on like Amazon or GameStop?
Oh no, you can do the disc based, but I'm talking about the digital.
Oh, okay.
The digital download.
Probably disc.
Yeah. I'm Richard Rawl, one of our listeners, our new listeners. Actually, I think he's an old listener, but he's newly contacted us, and he kind of was giving me a hard time. He goes, "Are you going to buy it? Are you going to buy it?" I'm like, "It's $90. I don't want to buy it." He's like, "Come on, you know this is going to be an awesome game. You know it's going to be worth the extra money that you're going to get, because I guess with the $90 you get a season pass on top of it." So it's like, you're going to buy the season pass anyway. You might as well do it. Get the pre-order. Just do it. And it's like, they're making too much sense.
Really?
Yeah, I'm probably going to buy it.
I've pretty much given up pre-orders. I don't pre-order. Like, there's just no
get something really, really good with it. I mean, I'm not talking a skin.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think you get anything really, really good with the digital pre-order. I think you get something really good with the disc pre-order.
That's what I'll do then. If they have something good, like I know that Sniper Elite 3, if you pre-ordered it, you got one of the bonus missions. Or maybe Sniper Elite 2. I mean, if you get like an extra mission that you'd have to pay for later on, maybe that's worth the pre-order. Or like the Alien one there, where you get the Alien crew, the Ripley and all those guys if you pre-order. So a few things like that are intriguing. So, but they're different. Like GameStop will have a different pre-order, and Best Buy and Amazon, they all got different little incentives. So it depends what incentive I like, if that'll prompt me to go and pre-order it. But I won't have the disc.
Cooper Hawks actually sent me. We were chatting on Facebook, and we were talking about the cross DLC, the platform. Let's see. He said, I wish the cross-platform titles would cut the DLC exclusive shit. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, see, the Call of Duty DLC won't come out for a month on PlayStation. Destiny DLC won't come out for what is rumored to be a year. And he said, yeah, it's PS4 timed exclusive. And then you have to order then you have pre-order levels, but only if you pre-order from those feckless thugs at GameStop. And Spaghetti Monster forbid if you want an all digital collection. You get jack and shit. Jack fucks your mother in the ass and gives you a spoon for the shit that comes out of her. I'm like, wow, that was so Cooper Hawks.
So see, that is why
that movie.
That's why I don't pre-order anything. Because all those things that you're complaining about not getting, they don't mean shit.
Yeah.
They are pointless. They don't really add anything to the game. You're not really missing anything by not getting any of those, because by definition they can't be necessary. Like, they are just interesting little tidbits, but like they're not going to really change whether you like the game or don't like the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's really nothing that they add to the experience, and in some instances they kind of ruin the experience. Like, if you're playing, like, I know Dead Space 2 gave you like a powerful gun at the beginning of the game, and so you could kind of wipe the floor with the enemies and it wasn't that scary.
Right.
So that's why the only reason you should pre-order something is like because you have the money to buy it now and you might not in like 3 months. So hey, put the money towards it now, or like put $5 toward it each week and pay it off in installments or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's really no point in
well,
caring about the pre-order bonuses.
Kevin Bolware in the chat actually points out the biggest thing with the digital pre-order is that you get a preload that lets you play immediately on release instead of having to download the 50 gigs.
Which is what Steam does.
Yeah, and that's kind of tempting because it's going to be big down. Even with the disc based, you're still going to have a huge download when you get home.
But I mean, look at it this way. So you pre-download, and then Tuesday night at midnight or Monday night at midnight, whatever it is, it unlocks, and it's unclear if it's East Coast, West Coast, time specific, whatever. You know, something. If it unlocks at midnight my time, I'm not going to be up playing it. I mean, I'll get up in the morning and I'll head over to the GameStop and pick it up at 10 in the morning, and I'll be playing in the morning with my coffee, and I'll be fine.
Okay.
So I mean, to go and pre-order digital.
Well, you'll be playing that night because you're going to have a big download, and it's going to take you, a couple of hours, many hours to download because the servers are going to get jammed.
No, but if I have the disc,
even with the disc, you still have a download. Come on, they always have a download.
I don't know if you have. You have an installation, not necessarily a download.
I bet you will have a download on this game.
It might be something, but I don't think it's going to be. Obviously, it won't be as big as downloading the whole game, though.
True.
And the other, I don't know. I guess if you want, I like having the disc. Like I just posted in the chat room, I like to have it. So if I can trade it, I can sell it. I can go to somebody's house if they have a PS4, whatever. I just like having the physical copy in my hands. And then the other thing is, if you go to make room, like I've already deleted a bunch of games, but I still have the disc, so I could just reinstall rather than have to re-download for hours at a time. Right. So that's just me.
Jaeger says, anyone really believe it will last 10 years like Bungie said? I can see it.
Well, I mean, we were talking about this before. The 10 years that they're talking about is not just this game. It's this game, and then in 2 years it's Destiny 2, and then 2 years after that it's Destiny 3, and 2 years after that it's
which
Destiny
would mean
4.
Essentially it's have to go to 5 games. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
four or so. Actually, 4+, I would say.
Destiny is not going to last 10 years. Destiny is going to last 2 years at most. Maybe 1 if they put out a sequel really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to be World of Warcraft. It's going to be Call of Duty.
Right. It's going to be Halo.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's
going
Halo.
to be front.
You know what?
I hope not.
I think at this point, Activision has put so much money into it. I don't know if Destiny will be a huge multi-million-dollar, break the bank kind of success.
I think it will.
But regardless of how well it does, there will be a sequel.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a multi-million-dollar. I think it's going to blow doors on everything else. Honestly, It
Yeah,
is.
No, Call of Duty's gonna
It
outsell it.
is. No, I don't think so. I think they've been so smart in the way they've done their marketing with first releasing the alpha and getting a lot of people going, oh man, this is actually really cool. And then doing the beta and then just essentially showering the world with beta codes. Because it wasn't just like if you pre-ordered, you got the beta, you got 2 more beta codes. So you can get 2 of your friends involved. So it's literally like viral social media.
Yeah, but that's like
And
viral stuff for all the hardcore gamers.
Right. But it's getting enough people talking about it, whereas before everybody's like, I don't really know what Destiny is, not that interested. And now people are excited. Everybody is excited about Destiny. So, and the fact that people are showing up on your friends list and it'll say playing Destiny beta. And then you go into a chat room with him and go, oh man, you got Destiny beta. How is it? He goes, it's awesome. I have an extra code. You want it? Yeah, I want it.
Yeah.
It's really, really smart the way that they're doing it.
I think it's good, but I don't think it's going to be Call of Duty levels.
Estimates, Kevin Bower says, no, estimates are that Destiny will sell 10 to 15 million. I think it'll sell more. I'm really I'm
okay.
If everybody that I have talked to, including Goalie, has fallen in love with this game.
But you talk to a very select group of people.
I do.
You talk to like the hardcore crowd. Like for reference, 10 to 15, what did he say?
10 to 15 million?
That is like on the upper insane levels of success. Already.
Well,
Like,
he says it will blow the doors off of Call of Duty. It will blow the doors off of Call of Duty.
wait, really?
Yeah, it'll blow the doors off of Call of Duty.
Here's something to look at too. Is I get the Call of Duty, and once in a while I'll put it in, and me and Mrs. Goalie will play the combat training. She doesn't really play the campaign. We don't do the head-to-head, but it's just, so she's not a Call of Duty person, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I got a code, and actually, can I just say, the listeners here are awesome.
Yeah.
I've got so many listeners contact me. It's like, do you need a code? Do you need a code? And
how crazy is that the listeners are actually giving the podcasters codes?
So
you guys are just
cool.
you guys make me tear up all the time.
No, it was so cool. It's like so I got one for me, and then I got one for the wife, and she played it, and she picked it up pretty quick. She's like, yeah, this is pretty good. This is kind of fun. And then Barbara, another listener to the show, she was playing with us, and she's like, damn it, Goalie, I love this game. Now I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna have to pay.
Right, and she never said I love Call of Duty. It's always been she's not been in love with Call of Duty. She's not been in love with Battlefield, but she's in love with this.
Yeah, so that's the thing is that so it might pull in some of these non-Call of Duty people. Now, Mrs. Goalie liked Mass Effect. Mrs. Goalie liked BioShock. Well, Mass Effect is closer, but whatever. This is closer to a Mass Effect than it is to a Call of Duty, and I think that angle of it might bring in some people. Yep. Who, like I say, it might bring in the Call of Duty crowd. That's great, but I think it might bring in more people, the Mass Effect crowd, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's funny how we picked up this game and played it and just had a blast. And in fact, I think it was Sly 7 played with us, and we finally, me and Barbara played. And she's not a shooter person. She's just learning shooters, and she's doing quite well with this Destiny bit. I was quite impressed. Like, when we played Call of Duty, and if she got one kill, she did good, okay? And this is against easy bots. So she's getting into Destiny, and she's, like, shooting people and doing everything here, and she was doing really well. So me and her played. We teamed up with a random person, and we tried to take down the big boss battle that was at the end of the beta there, the big spider guy there. And we played for about over a half hour. And finally, we all died. We couldn't beat it. And then we went back in again with Sly. And Sly was like, yeah, we'll beat it. We went in 20 minutes. We beat it. And we just had so much fun with that battle. And we did it twice. And so it wasn't a Call of Duty. It felt like Terra Morpheus on Borderlands. When we how many times did we do that? We just meet up and go just beat on him for a half hour. That was so fun. So this game, like I said, between the codes and how they're ramping it up, and they're just taking slow steps with this thing, they've really done a great job of putting this together. And again, I put it in, didn't know what to expect. I loved it. I get on the little cruiser there, whatever, the little bike. It moves around. You can drive around on that thing. You can call it up like Borderlands in a flash and get on a vehicle. You can walk. You can jump. It's got jetpacks. Jetpacks. Hello. It's got jetpacks.
Yeah, actually, it's almost as much fun doing the boost than it is riding on the Sparrows.
Yeah, there's so many things that this game does. It brings in the best of everything. I just wish it would add the fourth player.
Oh, it will. It will.
I know for some things it will, but
I think that there's going to be a fuck ton of missions, and there's going to be some that are 1 to 3s, some that are 2 to 4s, and then some that are going to be large missions, like 8 people.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying the majority of them look the 1 to 3. Now it's just the beta, the whole bit. Yeah. But now, is this going to blow the doors off Call of Duty? I don't think so, but I think it could have some comparative numbers because I think it could pick up a few of the fringe people. Although the hardcore Call of Duty people, it might not be hardcore enough for them.
Right.
They like to play the P versus P. I like P versus E.
Yep.
In the co-op play. And that's what I really think they went after, and I think that's what they're doing. They did a good job with it.
Yep.
They did a good job. I just don't want to jump entirely on the hyperbolic hype train.
Why not? It's a great ride. They got leather seats.
Because it's kind of dumb.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I agree. There's a part of me that knows that I'm wrong, but it's very hard not to be enthusiastic when you've had a beta that is that entertaining. That's that fun.
Well, and maybe that's the thing too. Like, I don't care about the story, and it's like, oh, okay. And I'm
really interested in the story.
I've played the co-op missions enough times now that I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah.
I want to just do the competitive because it's made to be repeated.
Right.
Like you said, like your chaos said, like, oh, when you hit the level cap, just start over with the new character. And to me, that sounds like, well, I don't want to play the same game over again. I want to play something new.
Yeah.
If they treat it like Borderlands, whereas you go back in from the beginning with all your stuff and they ramped up everybody, that would be fine. Or even like Diablo, where how many playthroughs of Diablo did we do?
That could be because, like, whenever you start one of those low missions, everything's like level 2 and you're level 8 and you're just mowing it down. If the difficulty actually scaled, that would probably make it more, even more longevity. But also, like I was saying about the RPG, it's not really there's no RPG aspect to it. Like, leveling up seems kind of meh.
I think that's going to change when you can start doing subclasses at level 15.
I hope, because like now I'm playing and I'm increasing my skills, and it's like, oh, I get a new type of grenade.
Yeah. What you're complaining about is that it's a beta. That's your biggest complaint right now. It's all I hear coming out of your mouth is that it doesn't have enough of this and it doesn't have enough of that, and it doesn't. It's because it's a beta. It's a beta. You're capped at level 8. Obviously, when you start looking at some of the vendors for up to the level 20s and the level 50s, you're seeing much more. There's things in there that are giving you hints that this is going to be far more complex than what you're seeing right now. It's going to have depth. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Awesome. So can we get off of Destiny because I have to do my requisite Wii U review?
Right.
Unfair.
I'm going to go take a dump.
Poorly conceived Wii U review.
It's going to be short. Don't worry. So I told you I picked up One Piece Unlimited World Red last week. Paid $50 for it. I don't want to say that I put 3 hours into it. And it's kind of, it's in Japanese, not a problem. I have to read it. It's okay. I have no problem with that. But it's a little difficult to understand if you're coming from a PlayStation / Xbox console world. It's kind of a different mindset. But it actually is pretty fun. The downside is that it's on the Wii U. And that the Wii U controller is very confusing. It's hard to use. You have to get used to the idea that the button that you're used to being the back button on the PlayStation is the active button, like activate. And
it's one that switches those.
Right. It's Japanese. And the activate button on your PlayStation is the back button on your Wii U. So you have to kind of get used to that, and it took me a long time, and I'm still kind of fumbling through a lot of stuff. I threw it onto easy, and it's very cartoonish. Again, one of my problems with Wii U games. It's based on anime. It's based on anime, but it's based on like a young anime. It's not. There's some just because it's anime doesn't mean it's cartoon. This is a little, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like One Piece, which is I don't blame the console and I don't blame the game for it. It's One Piece. That's why I don't really like One Piece. But it's actually very fun. You start off in a city that you have to build. Then you have to go out and go get resources to build it. And it's not like Minecraft in that you go and find them and you bring them back. What it is that you have to go fight these fights. And during these fights, you are collecting things as well as progressing the story. And then when you get enough of these resources, you can come back and then you can add to the town, like building a tavern or building a pharmacy or building a pier or whatever. And because the people in town are actually asking you to do that. There's a lot of little things that you can do. Meanwhile, you're going into these different areas and progressing the story. And from what I can tell, I'm kind of fairly early into it, even though I spent 3 hours in it, and that all of the members of my my ship party have been kidnapped, and I just got everybody back after they'd been kidnapped, and now we're going to try and figure out why everybody was kidnapped. So I'm just about to go into it. So it's early days yet. I wouldn't say it's worth $50 for me, but it's worth $50 to have fulfilled my duty playing a Wii U game, a uniquely Nintendo game on the Wii U. So, yeah.
All right. Move on.
There you go.
We move on?
Yep, that's it. So, I will continue to play it. I'll keep you posted. I know that's really pretty much for Kevin and Jaeger insisting on this, but I'll keep you posted. I'm not hating it. I hated the first hour. Hated the first hour. But then I'm slowly getting into it. It's a slow burn.
Nice.
Yep. Anything else other than Destiny for you guys?
I got the golf bug, and I ended up turning on.
That's right.
Yeah, I turned on my Xbox 360 the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Think it's just about into the dashboard. I could probably almost get ready to play it any time now. I'm kidding. So, I knew I had a golf game, so I popped in Tiger Woods. It was Tiger Woods 10. That's how old it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was still married, I think. But I went and hit a few rounds with Tiger Woods on the Xbox. And it's amazing how everything came back when I was playing the game. I had some fun playing a little bit of Tiger Woods. But the big news over here is I got my laptop back, my gaming/Radcast laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent it off. It was company was MSI Computers, who makes some really nice laptops. And remember, I turned it on, and it would shut off, and turned it on. So finally, they said, "Yep, send it back." So I sent it back, and I didn't hear anything. So I was okay. I know they've had it for a few days. So I sent them another whatever online. I was like, "Can you just tell me if you got it? Just I'm not rushing you, but just tell me you got it, right?" "Oh yeah, we got it." And when we go to ship it out to you, we'll send you a tracking number or something like that, right? Okay, fine. At least you got it. Like four days go by, still nothing. It's like, can you at least tell me if it's done? I mean, how much longer do I got to wait? I'm like, all of a sudden I get an email. Yeah, package will be delivered tomorrow. It was a nice surprise that just out of the blue, here it is. But at the same time, it would have been better because they basically turned it around in 3 days. They got it on a Wednesday and shipped it out on a Monday or a Tuesday to me. So they really did a quick job with the fix, but they didn't communicate with me, so it felt like a long time. So just my advice would be just keep in touch. Say, hey, we got it. And then 3 days later, yep, fixed, shipping tomorrow. Perfect. I would have been perfectly happy with that. So anyway, I got it in. So they said that they replaced the DDR3 memory. So does that make sense to you guys that if the memory's bad, the computer would start to boot up and then shut right off?
Yep.
And start to boot up and shut right
Yeah,
Yep.
that does.
Absolutely.
I did get a couple of blue screens from time to time, so maybe it was the memory that was causing that.
Yep,
So-
it makes absolute sense. The only thing that would make slightly more, well, I'd say more sense, it was either a chip, it was, or it could have been not so much your video card, but it was either going to be your memories, your motherboard, or your power supply.
Yeah, because they said one of the things online when I read on this, it was like, okay, try it with just the battery, and it wouldn't boot up. So then I said, take the battery out and try it with just the power supply, and it wouldn't boot up. So I knew it wasn't either one of those. So I thought maybe something was loose or something was shorting out. But it was weird, too. They didn't, send an email saying, hey, here's what we found. It's all under warranty. Everything was in the dark. In fact, it was on the front of the package. It wasn't even a package slip. It just had my name and the company, and it said, computer, and it said, just in a small fine print, replace DDR3 memory. I had to hunt to find out what was wrong with this thing. It was the oddest thing from this company, how they kind of handled this repair. But I did turn it on and boot it right up, and it seems to be ridiculously fast right now. So
Nice. It might have been that memory was dying for quite some time, and you were just not noticing it because it was getting slower and slower and slower to boot. Now it's all just snapping right back up.
Yeah, it's wicked fast right now. Would that be, does memory just die like that?
Sometimes.
I mean, if it's just sitting on my counter. It's really not. Like I say, it's not. Aside, I got back from Las Vegas. I took it to Vegas with me, but aside from that, it's really just been kind of sitting there.
Yep, it can happen.
It can happen.
It can happen. Yep. So it might even be just a bad memory chip. It could have been part of the manufacturing that was, that they got some bad memory and they knew it. Happens all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if it happens all the time, then it happens all the time. But yeah, the laptop's up and running. So now I can get back, play some Defense Grid 2. I can play some Tower of Guns. I can play all my favorite games there. So happy about that. So happy.
Nick, you, anything?
I played some. I actually went back to Need for Speed.
Really?
We were talking about that a little earlier, Goalie, because I watched the Need for Speed movie, and so it made me want to play the game. So I popped the game back in, and I've been playing that on and off. And that's still, it's not as good as Hot Pursuit, but I also think I kind of love Hot Pursuit maybe unfairly. Like maybe in like my love for it, my memory of it is, I remember it being better than it was, but I remember it being really, really good. But also like Rivals, which is the one I'm playing because it's on PS4.
Right.
Like the always online kind of nature of it, like the always multiplayer nature of it, isn't like the best idea, and it doesn't always kind of work out. And there's just a bunch of like little things about it that still bug me. But the driving is still really, really fun. So I'm going back into it and playing it for like an hour every now and then is a really good way to get into it, because all you do is just kind of focus on the driving.
I will say, as much as I didn't like that game, the driving was real good.
Yeah. That's what's keeping me playing it.
Yeah, the driving was real good in that.
I don't know why I never got a Need. Well, I know I not got.
Some of the Need for Speeds are good back
Yeah,
then.
some of them, but I don't know. I just maybe I feel kind of left behind by driving games, but they've all gotten so complex now that I just really. What was the name of that guy? Was it Burnout?
Yeah, Burnout.
I forgot which Burnout it was, where you got points for like bashing into each other. Carmageddon is another one where
that's all Burnouts.
Yeah. So,
I would love to see a new Burnout game, because, I mean, those games, like the way they destroyed cars, is like one of the best ways to show off like a new console. It's like, look at how much we can fuck up this car.
Exactly. That's right. And you get points for fucking it up in really interesting ways. I love that. Super fun. Speaking of which, can't wait for Carmageddon to come out. I'm so waiting for that. So,
Keep me updated on that.
Yeah, it's been a while. Actually, they're still sending out stuff. I just don't read it.
Okay, at least they're still sending out.
Oh, yeah. It's coming. I have no doubt about that. All right, so do you want to hit the news?
We can hit the news.
Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds News, the news, news, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Holy Goalie, Nick DiNicola, and our first item, which is... Nick, you want anything?
Okay, this is just kind of a sad, funny thing. Not the biggest news, but you know this game developer called Gameloft?
Right.
They make games for mobile platforms, and one of their games they make is Modern Combat.
Mm-hmm.
Which, clearly Call of Duty ripoff, but it's for mobile games, and it's done well enough for them that apparently there's 5.
Mm-hmm.
So they had this contest where if you won, you got Modern Combat 5 early before it was released.
Oh, yeah.
Which seems like a pretty nice thing, except that one of the contest winners then pirated it, put it online, and so now it's all being pirated to hell before it's even technically out.
Ugh.
And they are so pissed. So pissed. So upset. My God. I mean, they're not even trying to couch it through PR speak. They are just outright, flat out pissed. Where one of the guys says, if I go to Comic-Con and somebody asks me, starts asking me questions that are someone that clearly knows more about the game than he should, I'm going to find out that guy's gamer tag. I'm going to ban him for life. He said that to the press. Nice. They're beyond. They're irrationally pissed off. But no, they're very rationally pissed off on this one.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, you assume that someone who was in a contest to win your game probably likes it, and then to kind of be betrayed by that and have it leak.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough.
Yeah.
They've turned on their anti-piracy systems, so all illegitimate users have been incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
They have said.
That's what they say.
Yeah. But
we've turned on our super secret death ray, and it's going to come down and kill everybody who touches it, and even touches a pirated copy.
If it senses a pirated copy, it will blow up.
It will blow up your computer, so you better not try it. Yeah. Let's see. I got tons of news because I had lots of time and lots of coffee. So the really big news last week. Remember last week we said that there was going to be 5,000 layoffs, rumored to be 5,000 layoffs at Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's way more than that. Way more than that. We were off by times 3. 18,000 workers announced Friday officially by Microsoft will be losing their jobs. It's the biggest layoff ever in the history of Microsoft. And on top of it, they're going to be shutting down the Xbox Entertainment Studio, which is the division that's working on all the original programming that they were talking about, like the Netflix and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yep, they're shutting down that whole division. And you will still see some of their programming, NFL on Xbox and stuff like that. You're also still going to see a number of the projects that especially the big name projects that they've already got in production. Something that's not going to be affected is the Ridley Scott executive produced show Halo Nightfall. That's a prequel. Because that's kind of a big thing, and it's already in production. The other thing that's not going to be affected is the documentary Signal to Noise, which is the one that they were doing about the notorious Atari ET game, the one where they dug up the ET. Yeah, that's still going to be made. But any other shows that they'd been talking about are not going to happen, and it is all shut down. And the person that they hired to head the studio, who used to work for CBS, and her name was Nancy Tellem. She's out of a job because they're just shutting the whole thing down. Shuttering it. Shit canning it. So yeah, big stuff. You're going to see a lot of it is the Nokia duplications, but there's also a ton of other blood that's being let on this one. It's more than 10% of their workforce.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a big loss.
Yep, big loss. But, in a lot of ways, I think it's going to be really good for Microsoft. they're leaning up because they got kind of bloated in a lot of ways, and it's not just Nokia. They had when they changed the focus of the entertainment division to away from like the Xbox One's going to be always online, therefore we're going to have all this programming and you're going to want to watch your TV set. When they started to get away from Xbox One being your one box for everything in your living room, because they got rid of the Kinect and they got rid of all the always on connectivity, then they kind of had to get rid of all the stuff that they built up as infrastructure to support the whole one box concept. And that's makes sense that they would lose the studio.
Yeah, well, getting into original programming is hard.
Yeah.
And like based on the synopsises of like the shows that they were gonna produce, none of them really sounded all that interesting or good.
I don't even remember anything other than Halo Nightfall and the Atari documentary.
There was something about like a soccer drama, and then like there was some other ones that I was just like, I think there was some type of reality show, and I was like, it sounded like the kind of original programming you see on Spike TV or one of those. Like you could clearly tell that they were marketing toward that dude bro demographic,
right?
And it was like, this is really, no one's gonna watch this. This is dumb. Like at least Sony kind of has the right idea, making a show based on superheroes,
right?
Because that kind of targets the right demographic for the people that are going to be getting a PlayStation.
And I less liken it to what Sony's doing it, and more liken it to what they were hoping, I think, was going to be more like what Netflix is doing. But Netflix is doing one really good show at a time. It's not doing a lot of things.
I don't know.
It started with one show, and it took a long time to do that show. And when the reception to that was good, then they started the next show.
I don't know. I mean, Netflix, there's like a weirdly high number of Netflix original shows. But the thing is, when Netflix makes a show, it seems like they are interested in being like a prestige channel.
Yes.
Like with Netflix wants to be HBO. Xbox, it seems, wants to be Spike TV. Like, one is chasing prestige, the other is chasing dollars. And you could see that in their lineup. And the problem with, like, the chasing dollars aspect is that it doesn't really foster any love. Like, those shows, no one really cares about those shows. Like, no one loves Spike TV's lineup.
No.
They watch it because there's nothing else on at 8 in the morning, or because, they're just having it on in the background for whatever reason. So I think they were kind of going about it the wrong way.
I think they were too. Next
Makes
item.
sense that I need to find more information about this, but id finally announced the next Doom game.
Really? How did I miss that?
And what's crazy is that it sounds like it's a fairly substantially different game than what Doom usually is. Like, well, for one, it's just called Doom again. Oh, well, no, the other one was Doom 3. But Doom 3 was like a remake of Doom 1. So now this Doom, because it's not Doom 4, is probably also a remake of Doom 1. At least in some aspect. But there's going to be like a double jump. And apparently, like, there's a big focus on melee combat.
Right.
Like, you get chainsaws and things like that. Which makes sense. It's kind of appropriate for Doom. But, like, there hasn't been much video. They showed it off at QuakeCon. And, like, they actually showed gameplay video at QuakeCon. But they didn't release any of that online. So there's it's only kind of like hearsay at this point. But apparently they are actually working on Doom, which I am surprised because id hasn't done anything since Rage, and that game was kind of crap.
Kevin Bower says it is a complete reboot.
Okay, so it's the third reboot. In a franchise that has 4 games, this is the third reboot.
They're either doing something very, very right or very, very wrong.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it might be 4 games.
Is it only 4 games?
Oh no. Okay, main series. There's one. Doom 2, Final Doom, Doom 64, Doom 3, Resurrection of Evil, Doom 4. So okay, Doom 64 is not like a sequel. That's just a port.
Right.
So Doom 2, Final Doom, Doom 3, which is not actually Doom 3, but Doom 4, and then Doom, which would be the 5th one. So in 5 games, there's
3. Right. It's not bad.
No, sure, no, yeah.
I have a 20% reboot rate. You know, somebody's got to employ all these coders.
That's true. It's like whenever id makes whenever they misstep, okay, let's reboot Doom.
Let's just reboot it. Let's reboot Doom.
It's been 5 years, let's reboot Doom.
Gully, you got anything? No, it's okay.
I've been a working fool all week.
Let's understand. This is a good week for it because there's a lot of news. The Comic-Con is starting tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have a ton of news next week and in the next coming of days. But one of the things that came out that's kind of, I don't know if it's cool or if it's just dorky, but Nintendo of America posted on its Twitter account that Nintendo is going to offer a program at Comic-Con where attendees will take a picture and then they'll tweet their location from anywhere inside the convention. And then they're going to get a reply back from the Nintendo's Twitter account. And someone was going to be dispatched from Nintendo to run to your location with a 3DS and a copy of Super Smash Bros. In hand so that you can get a brief hands-on with the game while wherever you are. They're going to be essentially delivery boys.
If they were to give you one, it'd be one.
No. They're not going to give it to you.
So you're going to run the hunt.
So if you want to do like you're standing in line somewhere and it's like, man, I really want to see that demo. So you just tweet it out, and a few minutes later, here comes somebody with 3DS going, here, you can try it now.
Oh, I see. Yeah. The thing. Okay.
That sounds like
so. It's a demo anywhere in the convention.
Failure.
It does, but it's a cute idea, but it's not going to work. I mean, there's 100,000 people there.
30,000 people tweet, I want to play Smash Brothers.
What would be better? What would be better than that is if they come and get you and made a big deal out of it and brought you to the front of the line.
Yeah, with a marching band.
Yeah, with like
an anime clothes cosplay watching.
What I would like is if instead of having delivery boys like go and run it to you, they just use drones. So you just had like 30,000 drones flying around Comic-Con.
That would be actually really dangerous and awesome to watch.
Yeah.
I have to be responsible about my comments with drones now because I don't know if you guys know, I just got the, I don't want to see it's a job, but I was named the drone examiner for examiner.com.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you're listening and even if you don't care, but especially if you do care about drones and radio control vehicles and the news, all the news that's fit to print about this technology, go ahead and go to examiner.com and look me up, Edie Sellers. I am the San Francisco drone examiner and subscribe to me. Be nice. Thank you. My next item, let's see, what's a good one? Do you have anything else, or you? I'm just assuming.
I got a simple one. That's good news for me.
Yeah.
Hardline and Dragon Age were delayed.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. That's the one I was going to come up with.
Which is like weird because EA never delays games. But like I think after Battlefield 4, they've kind of changed their policy on things.
All right.
And they're more willing to delay things. So Hardline has been delayed to 2015.
Right.
And Dragon Age has just been delayed a month to November.
Well, I think that there's reasons for that. Hardline is, it's like a nondescript date of 2015. So I think that there's got some issues there. EA released on the Battlefield blog kind of this pablum about how, what did they write? I think I wrote it down. The best. They want to deliver the best. They want to make sure the hardline is the best, most innovative, blah, 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 blah stuff. And I think that's kind of their way of saying it's not quite working right.
Well, I also think it's good because then they're not facing the conception that like, oh, Battlefield Hardline
wasn't ready.
Out. Well, no, that it's coming out only a year after Battlefield 4.
Right.
And that it's kind of competing with Battlefield 4 DLC.
Right.
So it's all kind of competing with itself.
Right.
Because I think the next shooter EA is putting out, the next big shooter for next year is Star Wars Battlefront.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a very different game than Battlefield. So I don't think people would mind if those both came out in the same year.
Right. Right. And well, I mean, even EA said straight out that when they finally got through all of the jargon, they said that they needed to tweak the multiplayer features and online stability, which is the problem it had with Battlefield. Ta-da! Mm. So, yeah, I'm glad that they're delaying that one.
And then I'm glad they're delaying Dragon Age because October was just fucking awful.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why that one got delayed. It only got delayed a month. It was supposed to come out October 7th. And it's now going to come out November 21st. And in fact, it was Joystick that pointed out and actually dubbed October 7th the video game industry's $300 day because there were 5 major titles all coming out that day. It was Dragon Age, NBA 2K15, Alien Isolation, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, and Drive Club were all set to come out on that day.
NBA Live, too, if you want.
Is it NBA Live as well?
Tropico 5, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
more?
That's
I thought. Oh, wow. Yeah, all on the same day.
But according to my list right here, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Me and Nick were talking about that a little earlier about, someone said, are you going to get Madden? And I'm like, geez, I don't know. There's so many games coming out. And then, obviously, this is in October. But yeah, this fall, we're going to get jammed with games. Jammed.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Yeah, so it was smarter than to move.
Yeah, they moved it because they just didn't want to compete. And I think that they're going to be the first of what's going to be several. Because even that day is still going to be a bad day.
Yeah.
Even just the removal of Dragon Age doesn't really change much. It's still going to be 5, 6, or 8 games all coming out that day. So there's going to be more that are going to move away from that date. And I think that was smart of them, that if they're the first ones to leave, they're the first ones that gets to claim the next good day for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
have their pick of the alternate options.
The next alternates. Because if it's coming out 21st, you don't really want to go on the 21st now. Maybe you want to go, a month early. Well, you can't really do a month early because then you're shorting your developers. You're going to have to go. If you go a month late, then you're up against Dragon Age. So it's starting to act like movies, in other words. They're starting to figure out that they don't want to be competing with each other on particular days.
Yeah.
Mm. Speaking about delays, the GameHounds video game has been delayed again. Pre-orders in, $60 will guarantee you the game when and if it comes out. So get your $60 in now.
I think was it our video game called the Zamboni Challenge or something like that?
I forget what it was. Something about Zambonis running over cats on ice. I don't know, but the GameHounds video game has been pushed back once again. Yeah. But please get your pre-orders in.
It's really it's about online stability and multiplayer features. That's what's really doing it. I mean, it's complete. It's just we want to make sure that it is the very best experience you could have with a Zamboni running over cats game.
We need to restart the computer one more time. Make sure all the drivers.
It was all great. Then we had a driver that disappeared.
It's like a driver did.
And this is early access, so you know.
Right. Don't. Yeah, you're gonna be in the beta. Don't worry.
You're gonna buy it. But no guarantee that it will ever exit beta.
Right. We are taking pre-orders, $90 pre-orders, which will give you access to the beta.
The pre-beta, the pre-alpha.
The pre-alpha.
It's audio only, actually, right now. The pre-alpha. So if you come into a chat room, we will actually play the game and describe to you what's happening. You'll be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear us talking about the game in the pre-alpha.
Yeah. And Peter Dinklage is doing the voice.
Yes.
So
out of the room.
Game. Wow, who knew Peter Dinklage could kill a conversation? GameStop, you remember them? They are offering a 50% discount on Last of Us Remastered with a trade-in of a copy of Last of Us for PS3. That's a good deal.
Really?
Yeah.
50%.
50% off Last of Us Remastered with the trade-in of a copy of Last of Us for PS3, available July 27th through August 2nd.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
I could find a used copy of that.
Yep.
Oh, that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I would love it if you went into a GameStop, bought a used copy, and then just traded it in right there.
I'm going to look right now. 'cause
I'm sure they did the math, guys. I'm pretty sure they did that.
They're not that smart.
Okay. Because Last of Us Remastered is $50, right? It's not $60?
It's $40 new.
Really?
Wait. It's new.
Last of Us Remastered?
The last one on PlayStation 3 is 40, but pre-owned is 35.
Oh, okay. If you bought that and then traded in, they would actually make money off you.
Yes, they would.
Wait a second. So if I bought pre-owned and I get my 10% off, which would be $350, that gets
you're 50% off.
He gets 10% off of buying the used copy.
Okay.
So it would cost me $31.50 to buy The Last of Us used.
Right. And Last of Us Remastered is not going to be. Would have to be $63 for you to break even.
Oh, because it's only $50. I see.
Yes.
Okay. Bonus. Oh, there's a GameStop bonus included if we buy the remastered one. I don't know what the survival pack. It's a survival bonus pack. Unbelievable.
Still, man,
all kinds of skins, increase crafting speed, increase healing speed.
Whatever.
I mean, I love Last of Us, and I've been on the fence about getting the remastered, but that fucking deal
is a good deal.
Oh my god!
For $20 for just your old copy, and $20 you get the remastered.
Because I don't even have the PS3 hooked up anymore.
Right. Me either.
I never had it, so this is gonna be all new for me.
Sons of bastards!
I'm gonna have to go and
they're gonna make you buy it.
I'm gonna go and trade in a couple games. I'm gonna get rid of that. What was that game? Infamous Second Son. That's out of here. Killzone's out of here. So I'm gonna trade in those two towards Last of Us. And
I should look at how much Infamous is. I've been wanting to pick that up.
Let's see what else other news are.
Surprisingly good deal. If they offered 50% discounts on things more often, I'd be way more willing to trade in stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, without question. I would go to GameStop if I could get things 50% off by trading in a copy. Yeah. Absolutely. No question.
Yeah, the Destiny, it's $99 for the limited edition, and there's a regular one for $60.
Right.
So I don't know what the difference is. Probably, I don't know, DLC. Like you
said.
DLC,
season pass, all that.
If it's not going to save anything, and if you can buy the DLC season pass after for the same price, that might be the way to go. Is just kind of play it out, see if it's as good as they say it's going to be before you go and invest in the deals.
Yeah,
right. And there's my problem.
I only pre-order games that I kind of know I will like. Like I pre-ordered
Assassin's Creed,
the special edition.
Yep.
Because I'm just the fucking Assassin's Creed whore.
Right.
But I know I'm gonna enjoy that game.
Yeah, and I really should pre-order Dragon Age because I know I'm gonna love that game.
That's true. That's another one.
Yeah. Remember Marty O'Donnell? He was the award-winning video game soundtrack guy, the legend who wrote the scores for Halo and for Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but he got really unceremoniously fired from Bungie on April 11th. They pretty much walked into work and they said, get out. He just won a big settlement with Bungie for the way he was fired. And of course, now my screen just died. According to O'Donnell, Bungie never paid him for any of his unused vacation time and paid time off and sabbatical time and all these other benefits that they were supposed to pay him for if he ever separated from the company. So he took him to court. And he filed suit on May 1st, and without admitting fault, Bungie has agreed to pay O'Donnell more than $95,000 in damages, which is the $35,000 in unpaid work and vacation time, plus another $35,000 in double damages. So he at least got a big chunk of change. I have no idea. I don't think we've heard where he's gone since then, other than to court. But he's too good to kind of let go. But then again, he's probably very expensive because he's, Marty O'Donnell. He's freaking, sat with Paul McCartney working on stuff together. Mm-hmm. So he kind of is the big hitter of soundtracks. But his work is, you do hear his work in Destiny, which is kind of funny because I was just thinking how kind of not finished the soundtrack work feels in Destiny. And I don't know if that's his work or if that's the guy that they got to replace him to fix his work. Like, I don't know how far along he was in when he left.
Yeah.
But I will say this is that the soundtrack work in Destiny does feel a little unfinished. It's got good bones, but it's not quite polished enough. Like, there's some music and it's like, really? Wow, you put this music in here? Wow. I'm figuring they were going to replace it out, but I didn't realize that's Marty O'Donnell's work, so maybe they won't. Who knows? We'll find out.
The battle music's pretty good. I'm listening to when a person's playing in the other room and I can actually hear it, and I'm not focused on shooting people. I actually have time to listen to the music, and I realize, oh, you know what? That actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Yeager says they do, Nick. Just have to play it fast. I got $40 trade for Watch Dogs.
See, but also, I don't like trading in things.
I don't like trading in things either.
Goalie
does.
I am a hoarder of games.
Goalie's got absolutely no loyalty to games at all.
Yeah, I like to keep everything that I buy.
I do, but I mean that's part of my video game economy is that I would not be buying as many games as I buy if I could not get some value for it. Even if I get $10 in a trade-in, it's something I can put towards a new game. If I couldn't do that, if I bought a game for $60 and I had to eat that $60 and that was it, I would be really, really picky about what I bought. Mm-hmm. I really would. I probably wouldn't buy half the games I bought.
Oh, I could see that, definitely. Piss Boy, by the way, mentions that Last of Us PS3, $28 on Amazon new, used as low as $21.80. So that's still not going to make it worthwhile.
Okay.
Because that would have to make, if it was $21.80, it would have to be $43.60 to make it worthwhile. Base price, not including tax.
That would be good because it's $50.
Oh, it's $50. Oh, okay, yeah. Then that would be worthwhile. I was thinking it was $40. Okay. I'm sure you could probably get it cheaper on Craigslist or eBay even.
Yeah.
But you have to get that copy to yourself between the 27th and the, 3rd? 2nd. So it would have to be getting here between, well, I guess you got 5 days from now. 4 days from now. So, you got anything else? Go, Nick? I got one more.
In movie news, apparently Sony has actually scheduled the Uncharted movie to come out on May 4th, 2018.
Yeah, they're supposedly starting filming next year.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I wish Nathan Fillion was young enough to play Nathan Drake.
He should be Sully.
Oh, he wouldn't be a bad Sully.
No, he wouldn't.
We really should do a fantasy cast of what the Uncharted would be. Like, who would make,
So it would be old Nathan Fillion as Sully and young Nathan Fillion as Drake.
No. Who would make a great Sully is John Goodman.
Okay, yeah.
Who else would be a good Sully? Rip Torn. He would be an awesome Sully. Who else would be a good Sully? Open it up to the chat room. Who would be a good Sully? Old or young? You can even name like what era. Alan Hale, a young Alan Hale.
I'm not sure who that is.
You don't know who Alan Hale is, right?
Oh.
Goalie?
Alan Hale?
Yeah.
Oh, Skipper.
The Skipper on Gilligan's Island. He would have made a very good Sully.
Nick would make a good little buddy.
Little buddy. He is kind of a little buddy.
He is.
You are kind of Skipper. Does that make me Ginger or Marianne? Or the Professor?
You gotta be Ginger. Maybe Mrs. Howell.
Mrs. Howell. Lovey. Oh, Lovey, darling.
That was such a good show.
It was a good show.
They should make a remake of that.
Oh, no, they shouldn't. Oh, they'd never be able to make as good a show as that.
I know. That was so good.
So you remember a couple of weeks ago, I told you about that complaint that someone made about in-game purchases over in Britain, and he challenged that the game had been advertised as being free, but it really wasn't free because in order to actually really play the game, you kind of had to buy the in-game purchases, and it was actually our very own friend, GameHounds friend Kropotkin, who's the host of Spong's Sausage Factory podcast. He was the one that levied that complaint. Right? Remember that?
I think I remember that, yeah.
Go, Nick?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, that has had actually some fairly deep repercussions. This week, just earlier this week, at the request of the European Commission, Google announced that it's no longer going to allow apps that use in-game purchases to market themselves as free on their digital storefronts like Google Play. If you have an in-game purchase, you can't call yourself free. The company said that it would also implement guidelines for games and developers so that children are not going to be encouraged to buy these items once they're in the game. Because that's one of the problems, is that a parent will see a game on the Google Play portals or any of the Google portals, and they'll say, oh, this app is free, and download it and then hand it to their kids. But they've got all these in-game purchases.
I know.
And then the kids just buy, and the next thing you know, they're looking at, several $1,000s possibly of purchases because they had no idea that there were in-game purchases because it said free. So, and it's not really the only that suit that actually wasn't a suit. It was a complaint that Kropotkin filed. Really wasn't the only thing that made this happen, but it is kind of starting the ball rolling. But what really started kind of the issue is the lawsuit that Apple had. They had a huge class action lawsuit levied against them. 23 million parents that were involved. And they did settle it. And it took forever to get through, but they finally sorted it out last year that it was a class action suit over the in-app purchases racked up by kids. And it cost the company millions of dollars in refunds and iTunes credits and things like that. So it's not the only thing. The complaint wasn't the only thing that made it happen, but it's definitely starting the ball rolling, especially over in the European Union, about how apps that say they're free aren't really free, but you don't find that out until you get inside the game.
I still say I would rather spend money and buy a game. If it's a iOS game, I'll spend my $3, $4, $5 on it.
Sure.
And I just want to play it. I don't want to have to buy anything within the game. I just, I'd rather buy your game, give me the money up front, than the chip away at me, because that really wears on you and just it leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
It not only leaves a sour taste in your mouth, and the reason why the app developers don't want to do that is they make far more money on you by doing nickel and diming you all the way along.
Say even a game like Warframe, which I was really excited to play.
Yeah.
Ran out of steam in a hurry. First of all, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And second of all, you had to buy currency with real money to buy stuff for the game. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I would rather spend my $60, have a solid game where I can unlock stuff within the game. I don't have to buy it. There's something real dirty about buying stuff within the game.
Right.
I don't think so.
I
thought
feel that way.
Warframe handled it really well.
I found Warframe did not handle it well, that they made the game almost impossible to get past a certain point unless you bought stuff. And you say that because you ended up buying stuff. But if you didn't end up buying stuff, then you were pretty much, it's like you couldn't get platinum. If you can't get platinum, it's like then you're kind of dead. You're done. The game's over. It's a beta.
The thing is, I bought some stuff, but that was after I had kind of gotten into the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing about that game is, in order to craft things, you have to get into the later planets.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you have to play for several hours to kind of get yourself into a rhythm of, like, you have to kind of figure out. It also helped that I played with Chaos a lot, who knows how that game works, because that game doesn't explain much about how its crafting works. But once you know how the crafting works and you kind of know where to go to get crafting materials, then it becomes much easier to craft things.
Maybe I just needed a tutorial on that, because I got to a point where I couldn't do stuff.
So difficult that you needed to go online and read on how to.
Yeah, that's the downside of war. That's the biggest downside of Warframe.
That is the downside. And actually, speaking of Warframe, there is an update that apparently adds a whole lot of stuff to it. That kind of makes me want to go back and play it.
I deleted it. It was taking up a huge chunk of my hard drive on the PS4. And that sucker is long gone.
Well, I haven't, so.
I did. I started to make some room.
One of the things is that there's a whole new user interface, and you have like a personal spacecraft, and there are quests that will walk, and I quote, walk new players through Warframe, providing essential information on gameplay, lore, game modes, and menus. So it sounds like they finally added in,
what needed to be there.
Yeah, would need to be there. So I'm actually really interested in kind of getting back into it now, because...
Well, I think once the Destiny beta is over, I'm going to be far more interested in kind of getting on these multiplayer online games beyond, Final Fantasy.
Also, I feel I like Warframe and how it handles microtransactions, because the game never feels unplayable if you don't put money into it. Like, you could go through that whole game. You start off with, a sword and a gun and a Warframe. And you could use those throughout the whole game. You don't have to buy new things. Like, the game never locks content off from you because you didn't pay money.
Right. That's true.
And I really, really appreciate that. And it helps that it's free to play. So it's not like I paid $40 for a game that is then going to nickel and dime me with microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
I played a game. I played it for like 20 hours and then decided, you know what? I'm going to buy something for $40 because I've already played it for 20 hours. Right. And I kind of want to give them something.
Yeah. Just a PSA, public service announcement. Kevin Boulware says The Killer is Dead is $9.99 at GameStop right now for any Suda fans that missed it. Suda 51.
Man, that game wasn't very good.
It wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Even if you like Suda 51 games, that was not very good. Not a very good game at all.
I don't even like Sudafed.
If you want to play Suda 51 game, did that make any sense? Did you understand what I just said?
No.
I
just tuned you out. I have no idea what you said. You want to repeat it?
Please. Losing listeners.
I just pulled a wife there.
Yeah. I feel like I was saying something, but I said it so fast that I don't think it was understandable at all. I think it was speaking like chipmunk.
Well, I don't know. You might have or actually, I just might have ignored you, which is entirely possible.
Let's paint beige. Let's paint the ceiling beige.
Man, there's a lot of dirt on that ceiling fan. We should actually dust that.
Why do you gotta do that?
I know. I actually did that once. The dust on the ceiling fan. Wow, that ceiling fan's really dirty. Kevin's like, really? Really? Did you just do that? I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did not realize I'd done it until it left my mouth.
I said out loud, that's hilarious.
I don't get it.
All right. Should I tell the joke? The difference? I think I've told it on here.
Explain it to me again.
All right. Well, I'll leave it open to the chat room. It is definitely a R-rated joke, but it is one of those classics. The difference between a wife, a girlfriend. Let's say the difference between a girlfriend, a lover, girlfriend, a mistress, and a wife. Girlfriend says, "Are you done already?" Mistress says, "Are you done yet?" And the wife says, "Beige. I definitely think I want to paint that ceiling beige." Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of true. Like I said, I did do that with the ceiling fan. Only once, never again. God, never again. I'll never do that again. One of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my marriage. I will tell you that right now.
There's things you can joke about.
There's things you can joke about, right? The things that's like ha funny until you do it, and then it's not funny at all.
Yeah. It's like holding back the fart.
All right, so anything else? Any other things we want to talk about before we log off? Oh, I know. Hold on a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Do you remember what the international was? That big Dota 2 competition?
Yes, I actually logged in for a little bit and watched that on Twitch on the PlayStation.
I watched a little bit. Had no idea what was going on, but apparently, and I didn't see this, the final was actually streamed on ESPN3.
Really? Ocho?
Yeah.
On Ocho?
Yes, on the Ocho.
Anyway, so yeah, it was on ESPN Ocho, and
yeah, I was surprised by that, because I mean that's the channel that also showed a bunch of World Cup games. So it's not quite the Ocho. It's the I don't fucking know Spanish. The Seis.
The Seis. What was it?
Yeah.
What was it? ESPN3.
Yeah.
Trey.
Yeah, Trey. But yeah, it's a little higher than Ocho. So yeah, I thought that was kind of just interesting. Dota 2 is apparently growing.
Yeah. $5 million that team of 5 made.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of money for playing a fucking video game. I know, but hey, more power to them.
Yeah, if you can make some money doing what you love to do, that's awesome.
Oh, speaking of making money, what you love to do, God, there was a lot of fallout about the story we did last week. Actually, the debate that we had last week about YouTube Let's Play channels taking money from developers. Wow, there were a lot of opinion pieces. Some very, very well written.
On Polygon, was it?
I think it was Polygon.
That had a really well written, just investigative journalism approach to the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, and there was I think it was another one on Polygon, or maybe it was somewhere else, who was he is a YouTube person, and flat out said it's wrong, and here's why, and he lined out all the explanations of why this is an issue. God, it was so well written. Essentially said everything that you said, Nick, of why you had problems with it. But it just was, it's definitely gotten a lot of a foothold within the community of gamers. I mean, probably most people that watch these things don't know or care, but that's kind of the point that they were making, is that most people that watch these things don't know or care. So it's important for them, more important to say something about taking money.
I know, what's the guy's name? The cynical Brit guy.
Yeah.
Not Yahtzee.
Yes. The one who got his stuff pulled down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's always fighting back against that. I forget his name.
I forget his name too. Oh, and it's right on the top of my head. Somebody in the chat room will know.
Yes, chat room. Who is that guy?
Yeah,
YouTube
cynical Brit.
Brit.
Right.
Oh.
We mentioned him last week.
He did a video addressing it, and he had a pretty interesting response to it. Like, he said that, yes, absolutely, I've taken money to show off some games, but when he does that, it's usually it's not the traditional Let's Play format. It's usually a kind of either a skit. Like, I guess he was paid to promote Pacific Rim, and to do that, he kind of dressed up in this monster costume, fought someone else dressed up in a robot costume. And
Total
things
Biscuit,
like that.
by the way. Total Biscuit.
Total Biscuit, yes. And then other times he's taken money, it's been like to show off competitive games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's kind of had like a competition thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not quite the same let's play format.
Right.
And when he does do that, he always mentions in the description that like
it's a disclaimer.
This was a paid thing. So
this is advertising.
I like his approach to it. He seems to have thought it out pretty well.
Yeah. All right, so let's hit some emails. We actually got an email this week, and of course, now that I've said that, I closed down my email program. Because I'm an idiot. We got an email from Casey. No identification of where Casey is, but says, love the show. I've been listening for 2 or 3 weeks on iHeartRadio. Welcome! And I'm glad thank you for letting us know that you were on iHeartRadio. We've been kind of debating on whether we want to stay there, because we're not so sure of the numbers. But the more people we're talking to, the more I'm noticing a lot more iHeartRadio people. So if you are listening through iHeartRadio, send us a line, come visit us, send up smoke signals, go to our Twitter account. Let us know that you're listening on iHeartRadio, because we're trying to gauge, how many of you are out there and listening on that service. But anyway, he says, Mr. Casey Mace. Yes, Casey. I can't decide which new system to get first. I'm 39 and I've been a gamer since I was a kid. We need some input. Which system to get first? I'm assuming that you're talking about next gen system, right? Yeah. Talking about Xbox One, PS4, or technically possibly Wii U. I'm biased.
I am too, but to be fair, I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one. I think they both, since they've released, have really, Xbox with all the changes, they've closed the gap. Technically, they say the specs for PS4 is, quote, better. I think it's very minute.
Right, but the specs, the specs for the PlayStation games, even last generation, were always better. But the PS3 was definitely not the preferable console, at least for us, because it wasn't the social console.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to get an Xbox One, so I'm interested in the interface, the social interface of Xbox, because I'm not going to lie, the 360 had a better social network than even the PS4.
PS4, though, it's making strides.
It's getting better. It's definitely a lot better than the PS3, because nobody talks on the PS3.
Yeah.
Now people are constantly getting into parties and stuff.
Yeah, but remember when PS4 came out, we were kind of all confused and it wasn't working. Now it's not where the 360 is, but it's really close to what the 360 was. I mean, I finally see the notifications. I can, kind of join parties. It's still not as smooth as the 360, but it's way better than what it was. So the social aspect of the PS4 is up there with the 360. Xbox One, like I say, I haven't played. I heard they didn't have party chat. Maybe that's been fixed with an update. But I know at one point they didn't, that's a deal breaker. No party chat. It's a deal breaker. The Xbox ties into your TV and does a lot of neat things if you do that. Myself, I wasn't interested in that. Maybe if I had it and played with it, I would be.
And the Twitch on the 360, on the Xbox One, is actually slightly better. The PS4's Twitch doesn't, when you are streaming, it doesn't save the stream. So, like, if somebody's in the room and sees it while you're playing it, they'll see it. But that doesn't actually record onto Twitch and stay in perpetuity for someone to go back and watch play on demand.
It does now.
It does?
When I went to our Twitch channel the other day, I could see you were playing the sniper game. It saved.
What? I may have uploaded that.
Oh, really?
Maybe. I'm not going to commit to that. I'm going to stay with it. That's uncertain, but it is certain that the Twitch stream on the Xbox One, when you do a streaming, it will, when you're done and you turn it off, it actually saves it to your Twitch channel so people can go back and watch it on demand. So it's a huge thing for me. It's almost a deal breaker. Almost a deal breaker for me.
I still really like the Xbox controller more than the PlayStation.
I do too. I
think
really
the
don't like the
PS4
PlayStation one.
No, PS4 controller is really good, but I think the Xbox One controller is better. It's just more comfortable.
Yes, I think the PS4's controller is more comfortable in many ways, with the exception of the offset left thumbstick. My thumb, I mean, I'm playing this console a lot since we got it, and my thumb still kind of rolls off of the left thumbstick, but I've gotten really good at reaching over with my right hand, holding it forward, and then moving my left thumb back down onto the thumbstick. You know, it's kind of like old typewriter.
When I said more comfortable, I meant compared to PS3. It's an
okay.
improvement over the PS3.
Oh, yeah, huge improvement over the PS3.
But I still think the Xbox controllers are better.
Yeah.
I like the PS4 controller better than the Xbox 360.
Yeah?
Really? Wow.
A lot better, yeah. I think because it's a little wider and a little thinner. It just when I went back and played Tiger Woods with the Xbox 360, it felt really cramped and really fat in my hands.
Yeah.
Whereas the PS4 is a little more sleek.
I know that the Xbox controllers can now be played on a PC, so I'm waiting for it to go on sale, and I want to pick one up for PC games.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you uploaded this, but I am watching some past videos here on GameHounds, the GameHounds on Twitch TV. There's only 5 or 6 of them up there, so maybe it doesn't do it all the time.
I don't think it does.
How do you get them up there? How do you?
What you do is that, and I'm this is kind of one of the downsides I've been suffering with the PS4, is that you have to go into your share screen and tell it to upload video.
Yeah.
And when you it's a keystroke. It's at the bottom of the screen. And when you do that, it actually starts saving the last 15 minutes that you played.
Okay.
And then when you're done and you want to upload it, then you can go into share video, upload a video clip, which is the big thing on. Go upload that video clip to Twitch.
Oh, you can I didn't know you could upload to Twitch. I thought you had to go to Facebook.
No, it uploads to Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what that is. It's uploading it to Twitch. So you either have a choice of uploading to Twitch, which is play on demand, which is view on demand, or you can stream. But it doesn't do both. If you stream it, it doesn't save it for on-demand viewing later. Now, reportedly with Xbox, it does.
Well, and I know updates will eventually come that will let you upload things to YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
in terms of which one you should buy,
yeah, that's what I was going to get back to this question here.
Honestly, I would say PlayStation, just because it's more people have bought it, so it's kind of the more social console. Technically, it has better specs, so like if you care about the difference between like 900p and 1080p, obviously like the PlayStation is the one that will get the better graphics. And like in terms of exclusives, I think PlayStation has a lineup that at least personally I care more about, whether that be The Order and Uncharted versus like Sunset Overdrive and Halo.
Yep, I would agree with you there.
I'd have to look at the games because obviously the big ones, the NHLs and the Maddens and all that are going to come out for both, Destiny, whatever.
Yeah.
So you might want to look it might come down to the games you want to play. If you really like the Titanfall, then you want to go to Xbox. If you're, like Nick was saying, some of the games that are PS4 only, you might want to go to that.
I'd say it's not just that, too. It's also your friends. If your friends all have an Xbox One, you should get an Xbox One even if you don't care about the games. I think that's the number one thing.
Yeah, the social aspect.
The social aspect. So if you want to hang with us, probably be PlayStation 4. But if all of your friends have an Xbox One, I would say go for an Xbox One. Or if it's a mixture, you kind of pick your favorite friends. I hate to say that. You kind of have to rank your friends there and figure out who do I want to spend the most amount of time playing with.
Yeah, and that's true. Like, I think it was weird when the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 came out because it did create like this split in like your friends list because online gaming didn't really take off until like the 360 PS3 generation. And so before then, it wasn't the whole idea of what console do my friends have didn't really matter.
Now it is. It is the defining factor that you will have to take under consideration when you make your decision. If you're only going to get one.
Yeah,
it's actually a decision. If you have two, it actually takes it away from being one big decision to lots of little decisions every single night. Because then you'll have to say, okay, well, do I want to play with my 360 friends or do I want to play with my PS4 friends? Or not 360, but Xbox One friends. Mm-hmm. And can I say that there is an incredibly disgusting conversation going on in the chat room right now?
Really?
Oh my God, it is foul. It is so foul. I won't mention it. It is beneath this podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna have to open Spreaker because it wasn't open before.
No, it's pretty bad. And I'm going to actually name right now, the instigator is Kevin Boulware.
I know. I feel so...
It was all fine and dandy until somebody has started to mention the warm pasta in the mason jar, and then it just went all downhill from there.
I know. We're talking about lights on, lights off. I mean, I played Destiny with this guy. I got intimate with this guy.
I'm never going to see a mason jar again without having that image in my head.
I don't know if I want to cook pasta right now.
No, I did. Somebody did mention this, and you guys can probably fill in the details. Nick found it.
Fucking
And no, I am not going to share it with you listening audience, with you guys that are listening on demand after the fact. One, because it's the kind of conversation that could probably get us banned off of a number. And it's a podcast. It would still get us banned off of the podcast, number one. And number two is that's what you get for not being in the chat room with us live every Wednesday starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time. This is why you need to be here.
Fun hands and baby wipes. I don't know what's going on.
All right. So, but somebody...
Best line by Kevin. How do you think the Italians invented Alfredo sauce? I'm sure that seems completely innocent. But it's not.
It's not. Oh my God.
Oh, they didn't go there.
But somebody mentioned that when you listen on iHeartRadio, you miss all the masturbation talk. Now, does that mean that do we? Kevin Boulware says iHeartRadio sucks. You miss all the masturbation talk on Spreaker chat. Oh, on the Spreaker chat. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Sorry. All right,
he answered very
yes. Thank you. Jaeger blames me. Says I started it. I take absolutely no ownership of that conversation. And we are moving on. So anything else before we want to shut? Stop, goalie! Stop making it worse.
Stay for a bonus episode.
Kevin Boulware says, I can't wait till Edie plays this in her job interview. Oh my God, I thought about that the other day. Hi, welcome to GameHounds. Nick going, fuck.
That was hilarious. Yeah,
I'm like, please turn it off. Oh my God, please turn it off. Go to the next show. Oh God.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah, and I did not get a phone call. I didn't get a second call back on that. I didn't get that job.
We are ruining our reputation.
You cost me a job. So, okay. Anyway, moving right along. I'm closing the chat room window now.
Oh.
Is there anything else we want to add that's not in the chat room?
Oh, we need to go with the chat room here. And in news, breaking news.
A sale on Berea pasta.
Piss Boy, were you on here earlier when we were talking about you shitting out lottery tickets?
Probably was.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Don't we have like some codes that we could?
Oh, yes. Talk amongst yourselves. That's not that conversation. I have to go to my Twitter account.
This boy's got more codes than War Game. Remember that movie?
Oh, man, yeah. Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
That like 30 years later.
They probably.
Yeah, but fuck that. You want to watch the original.
Didn't that have Matthew Broderick? Didn't it have Ferris Bueller?
Yeah, it had Matthew Broderick and I believe Sarah Jessica Parker. I could be wrong on the second one, though. They will know in the chat room.
I don't know if it was...
First one's a plus, second one's a con.
Yeah. Well, they're both kind of, yeah. We're supposed to talk amongst ourselves while each researches right now.
I'm looking. I'm trying to get to it. I just got there.
What should we talk about?
Now I got 53. Fuck, now I have to go. Who was it that gave us the was it Kevin Boulware that gave us the codes? Because we have codes for Destiny Beta.
Oh, you guys were supposed to send me one on text. I didn't get it. I need one tonight.
Okay, I can send you one.
Yes,
send
me one privately. I've only asked 5 times, and you go, yeah, I got one. I got one. Yeah, it's on its way.
Here we go. I got messages, direct messages. All right, we've got 2. I found it. 2 extra Destiny codes to give away on the show. This is the first one.
Well, okay, for PS3 or PS4?
This one's going to be for PS4.
Okay.
All right.
Nick, you send me a 4 off air.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you one.
All right. And here it goes. Ready? 4QRK, 5RN as in Nancy, 5M as in Mary, 5KE. That is a Destiny beta code for the PS4. If you want to try it on the PS3, by the way, they're not doing the cross-platform yet because they're kind of wanting to say, it's not going to be really fair if you have PS3 versus a PS4 or somebody with an older console.
I don't think they're going to do that at all. Like even when the game comes out.
I was hoping they would. Excuse me. I was hoping they would, but I don't think they will either.
Yeah.
But anyway, voucher code. This is a code for Destiny beta for the PS3. 3L59QKNK. M as in Mary, CH2. There you go. 2 codes. Thank you very much to Kevin Boulware for providing us.
Also, I have one for PS3.
And you have one for the PS3. All right. Go. Yes. Go.
Okay. TN as in Nick, RQ, 7RN as in Nick, 7, 5B, M as in, I don't know, marriage?
Marriage. Wow, that's Freudian.
I was like, well, what's the first one that starts with the M? And I thought of Mancy, but that...
Mason jar.
Mancy doesn't work.
Mason jar.
I keep thinking of a scene in Archer where he says Mancy, and people misinterpret it as Nancy.
Oh.
And it results in a bomb almost going off.
All right. So anyway, is that the end of it? Or was it?
Yep. Okay. That's all of it.
All right. Cool.
I get confused putting in the shorter codes in the PlayStation and the long ones on Xbox. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But if you get either one of these codes, please, especially on the PS4, please look us up. Tell us. And if what these codes work for you, go to our Twitter chat. Twitter handle is GameHounds, @GameHounds. Let us know that you got it, and we would love to hear from you. Or either that or send us an email saying, thanks, guys, we got the code. But if you get it on the PS4, look us up.
Yeah, what's been pretty good on PlayStation 4, we've been adding, at least I have to my friends list. Some people listening to the show have been adding me to their friends list, and we've been playing something or other, or even just chatting about games.
Yeah. Yeah, if you are listening to this show on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, on our regular RSS feed, on iTunes, do look us up on PSN. We would love to play with you because we kind of do this for you. We don't do this because it's fun for us. Actually, we do it's fun for us because we like each other and we have a good time. But the real you're the gas in our engines is you guys. So just look us up on don't hook us up. Look us up on the PlayStation Network. I'm Gamer Edie, EDIE, Goalie's Gamer Goalie, and Nick is Evil Alsop with EVOL? Because
just not a new one. Just
get a new name.
Because I made it when I was in fucking high school, man.
All right.
Seriously, when is PSN going to give you the opportunity to change your...
Yeah, that's got to happen soon.
Nick, when I was in high school, it was so far back, you know what my gamer tag was?
What?
Dave.
Awesome.
On Atari 2600, I was Dave.
All right, on that note, let's close this out. This show's been going way too long, all right? You have been listening to GameHounds episode 272, recorded on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2014. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Holy Goalie and Nick DiNicola. As we mentioned before, there are ways to get a hold of us. Our first way is through our website, gamehounds.net. You can also send us an email at gamehounds@gmail.com. You can go to our Twitter page. Did mention it. It is GameHounds on Twitter. It is The GameHounds on Facebook. And it is GameHounds on Spreaker.com. That's how you can get into our chat room. We do record this live on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific. That would be 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Go to Spreaker.com. That's speaker with an R. And look up we're GameHounds. Look up GameHounds. And then finally, it is The GameHounds on iHeartRadio. If you are listening to us on things like iHeartRadio or Spreaker or iTunes, please go to any of those portals and give us a review. It helps other people find us. It also helps us to get some input of whether we're a good show or a bad show, what things we may want to change, like getting rid of Nick, getting rid of Gully. You know how it is. Let us know by giving us feedback. Always a good thing. And always feel free to send us an email or comment on the show when we put it up on our website. We also have a text and voicemail line that goes directly to Gully, and that number is
304-300-9889.
Feel free to use that number anytime that you want to get a hold of us, say something to us, leave us a voicemail. We do make you part of the show if that's the case. Or if you don't, just let us know you don't want to be on the show, and we'll keep it private. But either way, feel free to use that anytime. Nick, Gully, thank you so much again for being on the show. We will see you next week.
Hey, last night when we were playing, it was late. It was like 1:30, 1:45 my time. I was shutting out all the lights downstairs. I shut out the PlayStation, right? And Tawny, my big 80-pound husky, was laying on the floor downstairs because it's cooler for her. And I was shutting out the last light, and I looked over her, and she spun on the ground. Like, picture laying flat, right? At, like, say, 3 o'clock. She spun to the
31 seconds. 29. 27. 26.
Was she like possessed?
All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.